So great seeing you yesterday, guys.
I know,
And
what a
today, of
treat.
course, again.
No, yeah.
Really?
Thank you for fighting traffic to come back here.
I love that.
You drink your coffee black?
Yeah,
Okay.
please.
And there's pastries, something in here. Let's see what this is.
Let's see.
Ooh, well
Wow.
done.
Where'd you go? Or you made those?
No.
I woke up. I've been up since 3 a.m.
You went to Café Mimosa in Topanga, where I go every morning.
Mm-hmm.
I have my coffee and my burrito. And the croissants are great. I
Love a Danish.
incursionated a little bit on the muffins and scones there.
You do what?
I made a
An assortment.
yeah.
Nice. I see an almond one. I'm a sucker for almond flavored.
Yeah, I want to try a little
Everything.
of everything. I scrambled some eggs as well.
Perfect.
Interested?
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
So good.
Salud.
So excited for you.
Thanks,
you.
dude. Dude, I'm so excited. That pile of stuff right there.
Yeah, that was comical yesterday. Are you in town specifically to clean out that storage unit?
Well, no.
Okay.
I'm in town because I wanted to see some friends I haven't seen in a while. Living in London now, my social life is not what it used to be, and I've always been a pretty social bee. And I don't know, it's pre-pandemic was one thing, post-pandemic a different thing. And it feels to me that post-pandemic, I moved to London, and all of a sudden, where's my social life? So yeah, I needed to see friends. I needed to,
Recharge,
Touch
you know?
people.
Remember who
Reach
you
out
are.
and touch faith.
yeah,
I just-
exactly.
Well, I'm sure glad you're here, but it was comical yesterday. So we went, obviously, to your storage unit. I just laughed that most people, as they're preparing to move out of state, are singularly focused on downsizing and getting rid of things. And here we were going to the storage unit and filling up a car full of more music equipment and things. It was just
But your place is
comical.
so beautiful,
well, thank
Thank
you.
and it's an amazing space, inside and outside of the house.
We're very excited to
So
have
I
it
feel
come
like
together.
yeah, and I feel like you do want to, populate it with things that are gonna make you feel like even more home.
Yes, it's true. And, Paul's love of musical equipment is maybe bigger than thing, but like, I can't complain, What am I? It's
You're not going to be mad. When you look in that room and see that croomer sitting
I
there,
won't be
you're going to
mad,
say, oh, I
no.
love this thing.
And also when you get the people, around the instruments, hanging out and sharing a very special moment. I mean,
It'll all be worth
that's the
it.
magic.
I
That
can't
is
wait.
Right.
what you were doing,
Yeah, I mean, I think all this stuff I had in my room once in Encino. Maybe not everything, like every cable and stuff, but the mixer, the croomer.
You had a lot of cables that I brought that were, you did like a cable room on your on your closet or something. Can't remember.
I remember that. They were all hung up pretty nice.
I
Very
used bike
very
hooks.
organized. Yes.
I bought bike hooks.
Sometimes the
screw
German
them.
comes out of Paul very clearly. I'm like, oh yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like a certain organization. I don't know. It's hard to describe.
I mean, it feels good,
It's
like
German
a
culture, but-
creative. Sure, it's German of me to like things so neat and.
But in a
and
studio is the only way to actually
It's the only way. It's like
know
a
what's
kitchen.
going on. Yeah.
It's like a
That's true.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Like it should be clean and orderly.
Yeah. It's the only way.
You're meticulous.
But it's weird. I mean,
My wife would disagree with you if she would be here.
she would think it does not need to be clean and orderly.
She would say that I am a mess. And I think I'm extremely, efficient with my organization skills. I don't overdo it. Why?
You don't want to be too organized.
What? It has to feel lived.
Yeah.
If it's not lived,
I like that.
Yeah, there's like a balance of it. Like when you walk into a studio, it should look orderly,
yeah,
but with a little chaos too.
Totally.
I think it helps the
It helps.
creative.
If
Yeah,
it's-
you shouldn't feel like
If it's too pristine.
afraid to touch things. It's not a
Exactly.
museum,
You're not going to pick up an instrument and start strumming along or
Right.
experimenting.
But it's like a playground,
Yeah.
But yeah, when you start from a point of organized, clean, it opens up room in your brain to like let ideas come out and flow.
We were wondering this between us recently. I wonder if you can relate. Do you think your need for order has increased with age?
That's a hell of a question. Let me see.
I know.
I would say absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say that I
Push this right up on you.
my evolution has not been affected by my need of, becoming more orderly.
So you're no more, no less orderly.
No, I think I've been pretty constant on that department. It's super constant. A little messy here and there, but it's like organized enough that it looks clean. And if I start in the kitchen, for example, Lucy loves the kitchen pristine.
Yeah.
I can't deal with pristine because then if I cook something, immediately looks like a mess. Instead, if he has a little spot here, a little spot there, and I cook and there's like a couple more spots here and there, it looks normal.
Right.
Right.
It's
It fits
yeah,
in.
it's fine. And the same goes with everything in the house. It's like she likes seeing the perfect picture all the time. And I need to feel like I want to dive on that couch and, and make it mine.
Yeah.
It's like if it's too perfect, I feel I have to sit on the tip of it, I don't want to mess it up. It's like,
And how sad is like contemporary architecture that's just become so sterile, and like the gray trend that you see in homes everywhere, where it's literally
Yeah.
gray laminate and white walls and gray appliances. Everything's just so sad looking. I hate that.
Yeah, it should
It's-
be inviting.
yeah.
But okay, what about like on a film set for you? Because you're a filmmaker, and when you're things need to be organized to an extent.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, like where's that balance land for you?
I'm a little bit more OCD when it comes to film sets. Yeah, it's like
Let's talk about it.
I was doing this, pretty big scale job in Riyadh in February, March.
Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That sounded absolutely bonkers, by the way.
Oh, it was ridiculous, but it was an incredible challenge, and working in a place that is just starting to, become or want to become something, has been an incredible, beautiful experience. Meeting all the people that are trying to push things and boundaries forward, but I was quite shocked because it was very chaotic. It was like crews working on top of other crews and on top of other crews and on top of other crews. So it was really messing, with my head because it got so insane.
Right, like you can't like get a grip on it. Like,
No, and my gaffer that we became really good friends, Jack Powell and I, we're trying to make sense of this craziness, and we had truss going on for miles, and big tungsten sources, going on for miles as well, and every single thing that was not equidistant, that was not aimed properly, I could see every imperfection. It started driving me crazy, and we had a lot of sources motivated by, plenty rows of windows, that the second that they turn on, I see all the imperfections. I was like, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, but this is part of the process. It's like you start fine tuning everything, and then.
Sure.
But it's tough to work on a chaotic set.
Yeah, I would bet.
Yeah. Sometimes it becomes a really interesting thing. There are certain type of people that thrive in chaos, creating. That has changed for me with the years.
Okay.
I used to thrive in chaos, and like sometimes even create a little bit of chaos so that the attention is driven somewhere else, so I could actually, go to where I wanted to explore.
Like a magic trick, a little bit.
It kind of, well, as a DP, sometimes you do have to throw things, in different directions to get a little bit more time to finesse certain things or to figure out certain things. Things on sets can change so fast. All of a sudden, a cloud comes in and you have no continuity, and boom, you start waiting, so things start getting pushed and delayed, and for whatever reason it is, makeup takes longer, wardrobe, malfunctions.
Sure.
And eventually what ends up happening is like you have to start improvising different ways, and it's tough sometimes to come with things on the go. Generally the first idea that comes to your mind is not the right one, so you have to scroll through things, until you find the right one.
And it's not the easiest to be creatively thinking when you're under pressure and stress, but
But I got used to that.
Yeah.
Does it help sometimes, the pressure? Like for me, if it's like you got to do this and you have a day, sometimes that's easier because like, okay, there's less expected of me because they're only giving me a day.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just do my best, and maybe it ends up being a better product. No?
For me, it's I'm a procrastinator.
Same.
It's going to be a time crunch no matter what.
Exactly.
No matter how much time you give me, I'm not giving myself.
Exactly. It makes no difference.
I was an
funny.
English major, English and geography in college, and obviously with English you had to write so many essays and papers all the time, and it was like no matter what, no matter how many weeks I had an assignment, I was doing it the night before, generally waking up the morning of to finish, get it printed always. But I think you also this year recently like realized how much you love a deadline and how helpful that is for you. But sometimes like too much time, too many choices, that can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and too much time on that. Like we were talking about this with our friends New Beat Fund on another podcast, but like seeking that perfection, but it's completely subjective. Like it's art. There is no perfection. It'll never be perfect.
No.
And your own abilities and your own opinion of perfect is going to change throughout this process. So having a point where like it's just got to be done by Wednesday. However it looks Wednesday, it's done. Like it's kind of really important. Same with like editing a music video, mixing a song.
I find that the creative process, it's for me at least. I know that some people are very organized about how they create. For me, I have an idea. I want to get to that idea, and I always get to a completely different idea. It's never. It's very rare. It has happened a couple of times where I wanted to achieve something specific, and I was able to do it. With light, I have been able to do that, light and frame. More than with other things. With music, with painting, with writing. It's like it always ends up being something different. And I still relate to it, and I still can see the part of me that is, but it's never exactly what I wanted intentionally to accomplish at the beginning of the journey.
Sure.
Does it happen to you?
100%.
Like that? Yeah,
Never.
I think so.
I think
Yeah.
it's a mistake to expect it to end up exactly how you picture it. Like
Really?
because you're limiting yourself. I say this a lot with music, but if it's like, hey, let's make a disco song. Fuck yeah, I love disco. Let's make a disco song. And then we start making a song, and maybe it ends up not sounding disco at all in the end. But like, it's probably gonna be a cool song. So like, we should let go of like, disco is just a jumping off point. Like your plot. You're like, I'm gonna write a movie about a policeman and a thing, whatever. If it ends up being something totally different, like the policeman was just the way the idea began, but you had to let it go where it's going to go, because otherwise you're like in a prison of that original idea, which is really just a spark.
true. It's what gets you going.
Yeah, it got you going, it got you started. Like it's important, and it's also important. You have that idea, you go forward with the intention to do it, but you accept that it's probably not going to happen. It's kind of a paradox,
Yeah, not to interrupt the flow, Don't interrupt the flow. If it takes you somewhere else, you gotta just go.
Yes, but
that new place.
I always ask this to myself. It's like, should I interrupt the flow and focus on what the goal is? And it's crazy. All of a sudden, I'm just jamming by myself on the computer, on the guitar and whatever. Put a loop and just start building on top of that. And go on a tangent that had nothing to do with what I started, trying to accomplish. And it happens all the time. And I think that I'm trying to be a little bit more disciplined right now. and I get stuck all the time. And I'm gonna deal with this. This is what I've been saying to myself. It's like I'm gonna deal with this. I'm not gonna go on a tangent. I'm gonna stick to and see what happens. For the first time, I'm really trying to stick, with something.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
You told me about the book, The War of Art, which I read, which is it's like, just sit down to do the work.
Yeah.
Just do it. Do that every day. Like, just put in the time. And,
Yeah.
like, eventually the work gets done. And,
Yeah.
and it is eventually, like, there and tangible. But it does take discipline of sitting down to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes for me, it goes even farther beyond where, like, today I'm going to sit down and write that movie about the cop or whatever. And then I sit down and I go, oh, I want to make a song. And then I end up making a song. I make a great song. And it's like sitting down with the intent. I had to sit down to try to write in order for that song to happen, And it's like, yes, I got distracted, but like I made something. Something
Yeah.
came of it. And like I had to sit down. I had to try. It's always like, oh, once I pull out my umbrella, it'll stop raining. Things like that. But it's like, all right, but maybe you had to pull out your umbrella for it to stop raining.
I had to go to the bathroom for my entree to arrive. At
Exactly.
the table,
Exactly. And so
I
like
had to. I was getting antsy.
that's okay too. We're just trying to get to an outcome. But I've been playing with the paradox of discipline, but also like giving yourself freedom, room to breathe. You don't want to be so regimented. Like we quit drinking for many months. We drank 0. Now
Nice.
it's like if we're out or watching a soccer game, it's like, do you want to drink a beer? It's like, yeah, let's drink a beer. And like giving ourselves a little room, like that we're not just in this rigid thing. I don't know. It's this weird dance of discipline and like freedom.
I've been trying. I used to be an all-in guy, for most of my life. It was like, I used to make fun of myself calling me digital, 0 or 1.
Right.
There was no in between.
Binary.
That. Yeah, super binary. And I friends of mine used to sit me down and it's like, Carlos, is there any like gray in between? It's like, why should there? Mm-hmm. And with time, I started realizing that life happens between, the white and the, and the black ends of the spectrum. And, and so you have to find out these, shades that are what make and constitute, real life. And I've been trying to inhabit that, side of the scale. And I'm enjoying it. Really, it becomes a lot less roller coaster, which I love the feeling of the roller coaster.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It's super exciting. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if this is part of like aging. I still feel like I'm 14. And thank you for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, C for Christine,
I
C
know.
for Carlos.
I know.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's funny. Yep, we made that for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the gray is more difficult.
Oh my
Like
God, it's
last
impossible.
Last year, I think I started, like, I gave up alcohol on my own without Paul while he was on tour last June.
Getting blackout drunk.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. No.
And I was kind of just motivated for health, like a combination of health and vanity, because we were going to get married in August. And I was like, oh, I want to be I don't want my face to be bloated. I want to feel good from the inside out and look good and whatever. So it kind of started with that and just general health goals. And then my brain is so much easier. Like, it does better with all or nothing. It was so much easier to say I'm not drinking. And a whole year went by, and I think I made a few exceptions. I had like a few glasses of champagne on some celebratory occasions, but I think I had 5 drinks all of last year.
Oh,
And then we went home, and I changed the narrative in my mind and was like, okay, I'm going to let myself drink. And I think I had probably 5 glasses of wine within like a 2-day period. Like, it's just so interesting. Like, it's the gray is
that's
tricky.
not that crazy.
I mean,
It's not, but it's just
that's
it's
absolutely
But-
fine.
It's harder to drink just one beer than to drink no beer
It
ever.
is. It
you know,
is.
like
It totally is.
sitting down to drinking a beer and then just stopping.
It's the same
stopping.
with-
That for me at least is harder than just like I'll just drink a zero.
Totally. And it's the same with meat for me. Like when I gave up meat 8 years ago, and for probably 6.5, I didn't have a single bite of meat. And I was like, I don't eat meat. I don't eat fish. I don't eat this. And then I'm like, oh, if my body's craving it, or if it seems good, there's probably a reason why I want to eat it. And, my brother-in-law's a phenomenal chef. Like, I'm not going to pass up this fresh crab cake he just had shipped in
Definitely
from
not.
Maryland. Like I just started making exceptions, and now I'm like dabbling left and right, but with no qualms. But I see so clearly how my brain doesn't thrive in terms of discipline in that gray area. It's just interesting.
The gray is harder because it's more vague too. It's like, okay, I'll let myself drink some. It's like define some. What is some?
Well, and
is
then
some a beer a day? Is some 5 beers every Friday? Like, what is some?
And then I found like, okay, if I'm gonna make an exception and I want to celebrate with these friends that I'm seeing for the first time in ages, or the family I haven't seen in months, it's like, when do you make an exception here but not there? Like, it's just just kind of interesting.
This fucking berry
Gabagoo?
thing is insane.
Okay, let me get into
I'm
that.
having like a love affair over here.
Oh, that doesn't happen often for you in the sweets.
No, but this thing is wild.
Glad that you like it.
Wow.
There's
So where's
some
all this
crunch
from?
on that.
It's Café Mimosa in Topanga. It's where I go every morning that I'm staying there, have my coffee and my breakfast burrito. Yeah.
Man, pastries.
Oh, yes.
What a gift from the French, huh?
Yes.
There's this one guy I follow on TikTok, and he just, every video starts out the same, where he has this mixing bowl. Oh, thank you. This mixing bowl like this large and just this mound of dough, and he just plops it on the table and starts making these pastries, and it's like heaven on earth watching him make these pastries.
He just makes a giant batch, like a
A
giant
huge
ball
batch of
dough.
these elaborate, intricate pastries with, like, I forget what the word is for all the lamination, I guess. Is that the layering?
Oh, yeah. What do you call that?
It's just so great.
But yeah, like the flaky crust.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful.
Maybe lamination is what it's
I
called.
think that's it.
I have no idea.
You cook a lot in London? You're an incredible cook.
Yeah, well, not as what I've been doing lately. It's really funny, but I am, again, my digital organism goes between trying to lose weight and be on the weight that it's really good for me, with my health and all. I'm trying to keep track of that, and then feasting because I miss eating, and because I guess my whole family, we've always enjoyed a lot life through food and dinners, like it's like
Sure.
and I've been cooking very healthy, very, very healthy. And every now and then I just go on a weekend that's rainy and miserable, and it becomes
Binge
summertime. Yes. And it's like every meal is something amazing. And I just love cooking. I really enjoyed, getting lost in the smells and the colors and, the textures. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that it takes time too, cooking.
Yeah.
I don't like when you cook things and it's done quickly.
yeah.
Like I like to sit there like a good, let things cook slowly, and the
Yeah.
time. If it's done too fast, it's kind of like ruins it. Less enjoyable for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, just coming home from work and being like, okay, I'm exhausted. And then you realize you just spent 3 more hours dicing and slicing vegetables in the kitchen. And you're like, oh, that was the fastest 3 hours of my day. Like, I didn't realize I was just on my feet that long again. But it is such a nice way to zone out.
Yeah.
I still laugh. We still tell the story, Carlos, of you coming over. And, maybe you realize this about me, maybe you don't, but I'm like an early to bed kind of girl. I basically
I didn't know.
I get delirious after like 9 p.m. Maybe like 8,
Start to lose
if I'm
her.
being
You
honest.
start losing her.
I'm just like, I'm not quite myself anymore. I'm just really quick to laugh. Just goofy. But anyways, I always laugh because you came over and we had this big plan and you were going to make beef.
Bourguignon.
Bourguignon.
Yeah.
And you come over, it was like 6 o'clock or something, and you get over and you're like, well, it's going to take about 6 hours or so to make. And I just looked at Paul like, 6 hours?
We're like, well, let's get it going. Like,
How
let's
could-
Yeah, I
start.
remember that.
You're like, it takes 6 hours to cook.
And then we're just, catching
well.
up, shooting the shit, talking in the kitchen, and then you say that, and I'm like, well, okay, how can we help you get this in the pot?
I remember. How can we help?
You're like, let's
How can we
get
help?
this going.
Oh my God, I remember
just
that.
laugh about that.
was
But
But a
funny.
meal like that where it just slow cooks all day, I love.
And
I
I
love that.
And from the Argentinian culture, shout out to like just the Argentinian way of the slow process, the shared meals, the late night eating. Like I never thought I could get on board with it, but it ain't so bad.
Honestly, what you just did with the coffee was very Argentinian, or at least South American.
Well, yeah.
To grab the
it's-
coffee, I must pour it in their cups before I pour it in my cup. It's polite.
Yeah,
It's common. It's just a nice thing, but it's very South American.
Is it?
Yes.
I mean,
It is.
my parents
Even I
didn't
raised
do
me
it,
like
now I'm
that.
feeling
you know?
Opening a bottle of beer and it's like, this is
Here.
to share.
Yeah,
Versus in America, in the U.S., it's mine. That's my beer. That's your beer.
really.
We're more.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's something I love. I love that about South America. I realized this when I first went to Peru, like in college. Just like we bought like a beer, and like
Yeah.
opened it or a Coca-Cola or something, and then we all
Yeah.
shared it. Like everything was shared. If we run out, we'll get another one.
Yeah.
In the U.S., it'd be like I have mine, you have yours.
I've seen.
Separate.
Yes. I mean, I've been in the States for so long that I almost got used to it.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I haven't been in Argentina in 6 years, and Lucy's coming for the first time, so I'm very
nice.
curious to
Oh
see what's
my
going to happen.
gosh.
Yeah. Very, very, very happy to do this. But I wanted to thank you for sharing Maya's record.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I think Paul missed it, but Carlos said he had to pull over on the way home yesterday, listening to it.
I heard.
So
I heard.
moved.
Maya Cal Will, everybody.
Yes.
Is what we're talking about with a K.
Go listen to her because it's mind blowing. It's an amazing record.
Unbelievable. She's
Yeah.
19 years old.
She just has such
Her voice also, it's like it just
Tone.
touches you so deeply. It's very meaningful. I don't know how to.
It's very meaningful. It feels so effortless and like real. It feels like her range is really impressive.
Incredible.
And I find her so mesmerizing to listen to.
Yeah, and it's like the songs are so original, but there's something kind of familiar about them too.
Absolutely. They're what all of a sudden it's like, you start listening to it, and every time you start getting used to, the beat, the cadence, and the harmonies, something changes.
Yeah.
In a really beautiful, subtle way that takes you off that sense of like settling in that comfort and takes you into another journey, and it's constantly mutating and creating different types of experiences throughout the record. It does not stop.
It's a record where there's like little tiny moments that are like your favorite. It's not like that's my favorite song. It's like those 5 seconds on that one song, I go nuts
Whoa.
for, because like it just evolves so much
Yeah.
and like takes all these turns that you get to just hone in on your favorite moments. I love
Yeah.
records like that. Yeah, she's fearless.
Yeah.
And incredible. And she means what she says. I think that's important. Like we were talking about this we had 3 producers here, music producers. And they're like the biggest thing we look for is like what are you saying, and like is it believable? Am I even connecting to what you're saying? Like what's the heart of this?
Yeah,
And
what
she's-
grabs you, she grabs you, and
Yeah.
Totally.
she takes you on a trip.
I think for her, probably her biggest challenge is also like the biggest asset at the same time, which I think is often the case for people. But, her mom and dad are both music producers, and she's got friends who are really talented musicians and all this influence all around her. And I just hope that she can continue to like lean into her own instincts, because as well as taking obviously input and feedback, but like she's got such great instincts, and I hope that everybody like that her path, that she really leads the way and just keeps doing her thing, because man, she's just incredibly talented.
Yeah, I was really impressed. Nico didn't produce the album. He mixed it. He
No way.
mastered it, but while they were recording, he wasn't even there. It was
No
mostly
way.
her and a friend.
I
They
didn't
like
know
write
that.
together. They work together, and so her like believe in herself to like not be like, Dad, please help me. Like you're a pro.
Yeah, to do
And for
her way.
him to be able to stay outside
Yeah.
and not fucking come in and interject. I mean, when you mix, you get to arrange, you get to do little try ideas out, but yeah, to like that album is her, and it's fucking it's so good.
So
It's
great.
so good. When it first came out, it was also on loop.
It's been on repeat
Yeah.
on my phone and the car, driving everywhere. I've been showing it to friends. You know, I started like with you. I just want to,
Yeah.
spread it and like share it and see, if I can help out in any way.
Yeah, it's like an instant classic.
Well,
Yeah.
I know she's putting a lot of pressure on herself with the visuals to accompany the record. I think that's going to be a big piece
I think
for
it is
her.
really important.
I remember last time we talked, and it was sort of like, I think she's like, if it's not perfect, I don't want it out there kind of energy, which I don't know. I don't know if that's the only way to do it as your introduction to the world, or if you can be less precious about it and find is an 85-90% victory better than the 100 that's not out? I don't know.
For me, to be honest, listening to the record, it feels very tight, very, it's beautiful. There's a lot of beauty and honesty in it. And I think that there is something that has to convey exactly what the record conveys, visually. And that is going to be a challenge, because I think it has to be somewhat polished. And this is my speaking of just listening to the record for the last day, I think the visuals are something that I would try to keep very pristine, and very meaningful. It doesn't feel like it's, very improvised, or it's everything has a purpose to be there, I feel. And I think that that's the way that the visuals had to be.
Interesting. Okay.
What do you
Keeping
think?
it tight.
Well, I mean, I've been working on being less precious
Yeah.
about things. Because like I said, you can hold on to it forever, say, oh, it's not perfect yet, but then it never came out. And then the moment passed, and then you're like,
Right.
I'm on a new shit anyway. I don't even... So...
Becomes,
Becomes,
no
but
longer
I think there's a balance
authentic.
there where it's like, she or someone like her, we're giving her all this advice, but... it's
No,
like,
yeah.
what do we
not
know?
that she-
But like, put things out, put out your personality. Don't be precious. Here's a video. Here's me sitting in my room playing piano, covering a Kanye West song. Let those things just fly. But when you're going to sit down with a director, shoot a music video, or do a photo shoot, or do something that
That's
like
what I
is
mean.
going to look like this is an elevated thing. So there's kind of like there's your casual stuff that's just personal that you just
Absolutely.
put out. You just let that flow. But when it's like someone's going to see it and be like, okay, wow, this is actually very intentional. This is very put together. That should look like
Right, the shelf life on
Perfect.
those is
That's
long.
what that's
And versus a one reel on Instagram that's just a casual hang. It's like, of course, that can be more casual.
Yeah.
I was referring to that, to,
Yeah.
to the visuals, of the first single, being spot on what they need to be. Of course, there are many layers of the PR and the social media and all that. I've never been good at it, as you know.
Me neither.
Never, yeah, but
Working on it.
yes, yeah, right. You're so humble.
I mean,
No, you put and you draw a lot of audience,
okay.
and
Take,
yeah, take it.
I'll take it.
It's great. But I'm not gonna make an opinion of social media, because I'm definitely not the person. But in terms of music video, I think something really polished and special is gonna make a big impact, and it has to be very ballsy to say. I don't know how to say it any other way. It has to be committed to something, like where you go and you make a lot of noise. I think it's the way to start getting attention.
Yeah.
and it has to be very pretty because that record is so
It
beautiful.
is. You're right.
Beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, and the visuals have to be beautiful.
You're right about that.
Well, whatever it is, whatever shape, form it takes, I know it's going to be beautiful. I can't wait till it's out, till we can share those videos.
Yeah.
Watch them over and over again.
Yeah, she's a person. I'm excited just what she's going to do in her life. This is you at 19, like...
It's amazing.
Just keep going, and she's surrounded by so many talented people too. It's really cool. Really cool what's going on down there in your home city.
It feels like there's like a lot of artsy things going on, and I was I was with my friend Diego, and Diego invited this other visual effects supervisor, and they started talking about Argentinian talent and whatnot, and he's a Spaniard. And he was saying that Argentina has really evolved into a very professional space right now, and there's like incredible talent that are like just at the top. And I've been so disconnected with everything that's been happening in Argentina, from since before the pandemic actually. So now I'm reconnecting with everything. And it feels like I was so in my own world.
Sure.
And it's really beautiful to see all the people that are coming up and doing incredible work.
It's
A little
amazing.
renaissance.
And I mean, Argentina's really having a moment here with your football team as well. Holy shit.
Yes.
I mean, if
Yeah.
congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, Argentina is like really kind of in the spotlight, I think, ever since that last World Cup.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
Yeah, it's funny. I say thank you as if I did anything. It's like it's
Okay, but you feel a part of it. Like that's the beauty of shit like that.
I'm really happy for this team because I don't remember when was the last time. Well, yeah, a very long time ago. I've seen a team so united and so focused on. It looks like they are enjoying, the process.
Sure.
And something that has been really interesting for me to see. It's like no matter what the reality of the match is, if they start up, if they start down, they never gave up. Mm-mm. They never, seems that still they never give up. They keep fighting, to get, through and to get the result that they want.
Yeah, and they're like having fun. Like they know it's like they know they're gonna win. That's the belief they have. So like if someone like does a bad pass and then like totally misses, camera zooms in on them, they're laughing because they're like, like oops, but like not a big deal.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
Yeah.
But little oopsies. It's like in a jazz band, if someone like hits a wrong note, everybody looks at them. It's like
Yeah.
we're still killing it. Like that was just a funny little mistake.
Well, and the commentators kept saying too, like they're not playing their best soccer, but they would still get the wins. It was like
It's true.
it's
Right.
like they
won
weren't
Copa
always
America
they
not
just-
playing their best.
right, and that's an interesting idea of like you always. At least when I played soccer growing up, it was like you kind of play to your opponent level, right? So if you play a bad team, you end up usually playing sloppier soccer. And if you play a team that's really challenging, like you rise up and you're playing really fierce and competitively. And I don't know what that means about them, that they could just still pull it off somehow, even when they weren't like completely 100% their finest. But
It's a
it's the fun.
mindset.
Yeah,
I
maybe
think it's a
it's the-
mindset,
yeah.
and whatever got them, to the place that they are. I think. I mean, I'm no one to talk about football. Soccer. I'm not. I don't know.
You're Argentinian.
Yeah, I'm Argentinian, but it's like, yeah, exactly. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it seems that there's been a vision of the type of team that needed to, to exist in order to accomplish, what they've been challenging themselves as their objectives. And like Scaloni says, it's like it had to be a team that enjoys the process. It's like winning. Of course, everyone loves to
Sure.
win, but winning cannot be the objective. He has, you know, if he comes, he comes. If he doesn't come, he doesn't come. And that's, no, I'm good. And that's what I feel that they play like. They play to enjoy what they love and they are doing, you know?
Yeah, it's like
think
an art
you're right.
form.
Yeah.
When they play.
Well, it kind of is. It's like I've been, you know, looking at repeat of goals and moments, and it's like the goal against Colombia, for example, that the three substitutions accomplished.
Yeah, in overtime.
In overtime.
That was beautiful.
I mean, it was like so fast, and you know, most of it was like single touch. You know, it's like goal. Like what?
Yeah.
What happened? And the final.
And I think that goal too went like under the keeper's legs on the way in too.
No, I think
Is
that was
the same
that was
one?
no, that was a
Different one.
previous match. I
Okay.
think this one was right above his face.
It's just
between his-
amazing how many things have to come together. Like not only was
Yeah.
that offensive play so perfectly, but it just had to like dodge the keeper the right way. Like it is just
Incredible.
exciting to watch for sure.
It's a beautiful thing about soccer, like how difficult it is to get a goal. You know,
It's
it
insane.
takes so much.
It's
It
insane.
take hours
Yeah.
just to get the one.
I think that's why in America it's not popular.
It's getting there though.
You know, I think so because I randomly stumbled into like Portland Timbers like tickets recently, and well, this was probably 8 years ago or so. But my God, the stadium was wild. It was so loud. There, everybody was singing coordinated songs. There was like this guy with a chainsaw who would cut through logs because they're the Timbers, and he would like
Are you
give
kidding me?
people these chunks of wood. Like it was just very. They had a lot of like camaraderie and club specific activity going on, and I was like, oh wow, this didn't feel like I remember it, because I used to go to Chicago Fire games and things like that, and it was wild, but this felt elevated to me. Like it felt coordinated.
I mean, what's happening with soccer in the States is really interesting. I mean, the price of tickets alone have skyrocketed.
Yeah,
That I find insane.
you know,
Insane.
people in Miami are probably fed up. Their season ticket holders, right, had to just pay so much more this year for
mean,
Messi, and then he was like
He's not
in and
playing.
out all year,
Yeah.
basically.
But
So
I'm a little, in all honesty, it's like, maybe I hate to say this. Every time I say this, I sound like I'm talking like an old man. But the price of shows, you go to see a show, it's like hundreds of dollars to see, you know, one of your pop idols. How can people afford
it's
that?
rough.
You know?
It's a bummer. I think it's because it got centralized. Like Live Nation and Ticketmaster just had this like monopoly on, if you're buying a ticket, you're buying it through us. So like, here's $30 of service fees that we'll add on
Man.
to every ticket.
A football, soccer match to be like thousands of dollars for a mediocre seat.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
get
it's
it.
not very accessible.
Don't get it.
Yeah, we almost bought tickets to see. It would have been the Argentinian team versus what, Costa Rica or something, like early in the Copa America.
Here in LA, yeah.
There was a game in LA, and I don't know.
We
It
wanted
just-
to.
We
We're
just
like, we
couldn't
could see
stomach it.
Messi.
How much was it?
It was like, I think $350 or something.
Each ticket.
Each ticket,
Are you
not
kidding
good
me?
seats, and then it's like, all right, you figure we're gonna get a beer, get a hot dog. It's like $1,000 day.
Yeah.
But that's
You
what
know,
I'm saying.
rough.
It's
Yeah,
like,
so we didn't do it.
I mean,
But
I know.
What?
I'll watch on TV.
what?
But we
Yeah.
might kick ourselves one day, you know? It's like, oh, you had a chance to go see Messi play on the Argentinian team and you
Yeah.
didn't? Like, do you miss $1,000 or do you miss memories? You know?
I mean, both and, right? You know, I used to remember feeling that way all the time in high school when I was splurging on concert tickets. And you're right, I didn't ultimately end up missing the $80 or $100 at that time.
And you're so glad you went to the show.
Yeah, but, you know, it adds up and there's always an opportunity cost, you know?
Yeah, no,
It's
of
like,
course. You have to.
yeah, just what indulgence is worth it? I don't know.
Well,
One day, I'm weary of like one day experiences. If I'm gonna have $1,000 day, I'd rather it be, you know, just went and got like brand new piano, and now we have this piano that we're going to use for the next 35 years and make songs on, like something that's going to have a more
Like
return to
a
it.
flight to Uruguay or
Yes.
something. You know,
I
yeah.
agree.
Exactly.
I do agree. I mean, maybe, yeah.
tough,
I was
right?
about to drop a bomb. Like, I'm fed up of these, like abuse of the audiences.
Yes,
but
be good to us.
I feel abused. It's like, come on, give me a break. It's a football match. It's like it's everywhere else in the world is 40 euros.
Yes.
Here it's like 1,000 for the same type of seat. Mm-hmm. No, give me a break.
Well, and it's like really wealthy people have bought into soccer, and they're trying to get a return, and they're trying to like.
Yeah, but soccer
Grow.
has always belonged to the people.
That's
Yeah,
what's
I
so
agree.
great about it.
It's like
One of the most accessible sports out there.
and the best players play, the way that they do because they were born, on next to a patch of land with a ball, barefoot,
Yeah,
playing with
grew
their
up on the
friends,
pitch.
and that's how they play. Messi plays like that, It's like Maradona used to play like that as well. It's like all the great players have like, and I feel like now everything is becoming like super sophisticated and like one touch game, one. It's like, oh my goodness, where's the passion, Very thoughtful. Everything has to be, strategy, and I think that is changing the way magic expresses, on the field.
Fair, but we're still seeing magic like in Messi and in
Yeah.
other players.
I mean, I'm talking
But yeah,
about
like sitting down, crunching the numbers, focusing so much on the stats, it takes a little magic out of the game. It's like a Moneyball kind of thing.
Let's address the elephant on the pitch here.
Uh-oh.
The acting, the flagrant fouling.
They gotta
and
stop doing that.
The drama here.
Listen, it's part of
It's
it.
out of control.
It's part of the game.
But it's
part of the
gotten
game.
worse,
It's
no?
I mean, no, it's existed all
Does it have to be
life.
part of the game then? Like,
Well, there's VAR now, so it's like that's up to the referees. They can always just say, stand up. You're not gonna be nominated for an Oscar. Done deal. End of the deal. All it takes is for the referees and the authorities ruling the how do you call when sanctioning the rules of the game to apply the rules that already exist to stop that, and that's it.
I wish they would, because it's always interesting, that the overtime play or like that additional time, like nobody's falling and getting hurt in those times. Like everybody's just so focused on winning.
right, if you're down and there's only 2 minutes left in the game, like
You never get hurt.
you'd never get hurt. Yeah, you just power through everything. But like half hour ago, someone touched you. And
It's
you're
called
like,
it's called manipulating time, manipulating emotions, shifting the tempo. I mean,
I
look
think-
at Wimbledon. Like I was watching this game. I think it was the final. This
that was
last
Jocko and Alcaraz.
no female
don't
women. Who was that? Well, I can't remember who it was. One of the players loses the first set 6-2. Stands up from her seat, goes to the bathroom, stops the game. The other player is sat on her chair, trying to keep focus. And the other player goes, looks at herself in the mirror, says, okay, you're going to go, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. Comes back, 6-2, she wins, got the other player completely out of the game and had to struggle, to get back in the game to finally take the last. By this close, but this is part of the rules. You're using every bit of the rule. It's a psychological warfare. Basketball.
Sure.
I'm sure. You would stand next to Kobe Bryant, and he would fill your soul with trash talk until he has you. He had you.
Totally.
You're right.
You know what I mean? It's like it's part of the game.
Well,
I
and all
think,
that
though,
like
but you don't
forcing
hear
fouls
that.
at the end of a basketball game gets
Sure.
frustrating too, like just to stop the clock and stuff. And Muhammad Ali, like trash talker, but he would also like hang on guys. Like
Yeah.
he would like just put all his weight on you to like tire you out. You do kind of there are the rules, and you go to the edge of what you can do.
You bend, as much as you can things, in order to accomplish what you need to accomplish.
But does it not frustrate you at all watching a soccer game when it's like, okay, he touched your shirt, like get up, or are you just like, oh, it's fine, it's part of the game?
You know what? I get pissed when they do this to Argentina, and they've done it a lot. I mean, it happens all the time.
It's upsetting when the other team does it.
No. What I'm saying is like it happens on both sides, and from
sure.
every angle possible. Thank you. So for me, it's part of the game. I've
Thank you.
I've grown up surrounded by that.
Yeah.
Football. There's a part of football that is theatrics.
Yeah.
I was laughing at the Paul against Canada. He's on the floor, and it's like someone touches him and he falls. Right? He starts like putting his socks up. From the floor. Looks at the Canadian coach and it's like. It's like you run your mouth too much, and it's like. And then it's like it's constantly, they're constantly trying to, get in your mind.
Yeah, I hear
And
that.
it
I
happens.
just think that that's the number one thing I hear from people who are not soccer or football fans. It's like, oh, they're just so dramatic. It's like, I think it is off-putting for people who don't really have that love of the game. Like, it's just enough to kind of deter it. And I know how tough soccer is, and I know how tough all the players are. They kind of sell themselves short a little bit by this constant faking.
Americans, we have football, which like sure they're all padded up and stuff, but it's just like kind of seems like a tougher sport.
It's beastly.
It's like every play you have a freight train, coming at you at full speed, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's
Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
So for like a dad who's like for our dads basically who are like grew up watching American football and then they see like some soccer guy riling, it's like, get this fucking guy up here, like it does turn them certainly off to the game. If you've grown up watching football and
But
you're
I
like,
mean-
America, like we're tough.
But impeccable athletes. I mean, running what do they say? They run on average like 7 miles a game or something
I
crazy.
mean, they sprint,
More,
they're not
probably
just
more, I
running.
would say.
Like,
Wild amounts of endurance and just
whereas
strength
football is
and
so stop
agility.
and go. American football.
yeah.
You're only actually running for seconds.
Right,
The
and you have
shortest
the
amount-
offensive and the defensive line and the turn taking that happens with that, and versus just the constant stream of play.
Yeah, I think soccer players are more athletic than football, American football.
Different type.
Different type.
American
for
football is
sure.
stronger.
You know,
They'll push a soccer player fucking through a wall, no problem. But
yeah.
If they could catch them.
but a football player, an American football player playing soccer, or a soccer player playing American football, who do you think does better?
Ooh, well,
And let's give the soccer player like a running back role. He's not like a lineman.
No. I think you can't do that crossover because the physicality of American football, it is so intense that I don't think a single football, soccer player would do well in American football. And in the same way, I don't think most American football players would do well playing soccer. I don't think you can
Who
cross.
would do worse though?
Worse?
Yeah.
A soccer player doing
Going to the NFL.
Going to the NFL, 1,000%. I don't think it's a different type of physicality.
Yeah. They'd probably get murdered.
And it's absolutely broken in half. It's although
We'll
there's
give you something to cry about.
well, yeah, but there's. I mean, to me, football is more like. Maybe I'm exaggerating. I'm Argentinian. Fine, I'm already excused by that. But it's more, like a choreography and a ballet. In a way, basketball, has at a smaller scale and way faster that type of feel. It's more.
Basketball's more like soccer.
Yeah, to me.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, completely.
This thing about passing, opening spaces, managing, spaces and timing.
Movement
And also,
off the ball. Yeah, all the good stuff.
and also getting in your opponent's head. It's like there's a lot of things that are very, similar. And both to me have some sort of a ballet type of experience. You see movement that it's so sophisticated, and it happens. It's like time is extended at certain moments. You see a jump, to do a headache and to do a head strike, and you go like, how is on the air so long? You see, a basketball player going for a dunk, and it's almost like people are walking on it. It's crazy.
Especially like an alley-oop, like the guy threw the ball up, the other guy catches it, dunks it in. It's like, how'd you time that so well?
The timing of all these things, Same thing watching to me, the best game I've ever watched, which was the World Cup final, Argentina, France. The narrative of that game was incredible.
People talk about that as one of the best soccer games of all time.
By far is the best I've seen. By far.
It was so nuts. And I say this a lot, but the fact that Mbappe, he had a hat trick in a World Cup final. Unheard of. Like, the accomplishment of a lifetime.
Yeah.
And he lost. Like, all that.
Yeah.
And he still lost.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like that, it was such a good competition.
The joy of team sports.
It's beautiful. I like sports so much more. Like they're unifying. The World Cup, every 4 years, the whole globe gets together and sees who could kick a ball better.
Yeah.
Like it's so awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
It's kind of goofy. It's childish a little bit. It's like it's a children's game, But like, it's so beautiful.
I think it brings you to that place every time, It's like now every time I watch football, I'm like, I miss playing it, and I haven't played in more than a decade.
Same. I still feel that way too. Watching, I'm like, oh,
I was like,
where are my cleats? I gotta go.
I want to go kick the ball, It's like just see if I can still score something.
Right.
It's I don't know. It's a very I guess it's something that's in me.
Yeah, I mean, that human need too for, I think, camaraderie, but also just, I don't know, I guess maybe the distraction from real life and all the real things you have to worry about on a day-to-day. It's just nice to have something to watch that gives you such joy without, I don't know, without any real consequences, real stakes.
Yeah, I mean, does it come from our tribal warfare warriors? Fighting a guy, and then this this moment, like this, you only get in sports now, right? Like that feeling, like and everyone's like cheering. That's a sports thing. Doesn't exist anywhere else today.
But I don't know.
Go
you don't
far
think
back.
that sense of accomplishment exists? I feel like that's still why people
Where-
go hunting.
No,
That's
where
why
you have
people-
an audience.
Where a crowd goes
have an
nuts
audience.
for you, versus like
Okay.
if you picture like the Spartans and the Athenians
I was
fighting each
gonna
other,
bring that up.
and it's like
No.
and it's like
The Coliseum, like
Right.
gladiators on the arena,
Right.
like fighting for their lives, and
Well,
it's
Gladiators
like-
it was, I mean, with deadly consequences, but a sport.
that's what I'm saying.
It took
It's
from the battlefield. It's like, but that gave it an audience.
Well,
Yeah,
in Mexico too, didn't they found like more and more courts, basically with like a combination of like a basketball game, kind of
Some
a soccer
weird game, yeah.
Which I think it was.
what is it?
Nah, it's a Harry Potter thing.
But I think that one like also got people killed. Like back then,
Probably.
it was
Lacrosse, I
definitely-
think, used to be like a really deadly sport that Native Americans would play. I heard.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah, and it'd be like a mile over like miles.
Wow. I didn't
You know, I
realize
should look that up. I
didn't hear
heard
that,
that. I heard that in
heard that.
passing one time.
Interesting. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously something that we have craved about that from forever.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and for some reason at the Copa America final, I was like thinking about that when all of a sudden, Messi started crying and started, a massive image of him crying, on the screens. It's like, and people started like screaming and chanting for him and whatnot. I'm like, I can imagine what it would have been, in the gladiator arena and, people chanting for your death.
Yeah,
So,
seriously, how
it's-
intimidating.
My goodness.
Well, and the lack of alternative entertainment, because like we care this much now, but we also have iPhones with endless information and distraction. So like to still care so deeply is actually a pretty big accomplishment, I think.
Oh, I mean, it's so
like,
in
so in
us,
there.
and it was only, like we said, drop in the bucket in history. We were the Athenians and the Spartans basically just fought. Like it just happened. It was 2,000 years ago, but like it basically just happened in terms of like our full evolution and our whole development of our psyche and our emotions and stuff. Like we're still so tied to that.
Yeah.
And you see it in politics. You see it even in brands like fuck Pepsi. I'm a Coca-Cola guy. Like that is like
But
the same.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to start, going on a tangent, but yeah, better not.
Oh no, that's what this is all
We can
about.
tangent all you want.
We can
No,
pivot.
it's like I've been in England for the past 2 years, and I've been coming to the States on and off for jobs and whatnot. And for some reason, I got surprised this time. Everything feels like it's entertainment. The debate, feels like that.
Yeah.
The Republican convention feels like that. Every news feel like it's more entertaining than it is informative, and everything is show business. It's not news anymore. It feels to me, maybe I'm totally wrong.
I think
but
it's been that way for
I
a long
think that's
time.
a fair
but-
observation.
But living here for so long,
You get used
I
to
was, this is news. Now, I watch the news in England, and I go like, everything is like so, how do you say, stark? Stoic. And it's just to the point, slightly bit of opinion, blah, 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 blah. Here, it's like, everything is a show.
Yeah, it's a big
I
show.
always
Big
heard
show.
the UK had like a bad problems with like the tabloids though too, and sort of the
Tabloids-
invasiveness of
Tabloids
the tabloids.
is a yeah. I'm not
That's still
talking
around.
that is news. That is
Mainstream media though.
that to me is the showbiz.
Okay.
It's like the TJC or whatever you call that, or like
TMZ.
TMZ.
THC is something else
THC.
that I also love.
Both drugs, TMZ and THC.
Yeah. So I mean, but it shocked me a little bit, just to step out of this show business culture,
Yeah.
coming back to it at a moment of like an election year, especially. I mean, the Republican convention, I saw a moment felt like Taylor Swift was about to sing or something, when I'm like.
And then Kid Rock comes out.
Yeah,
and he's
right.
like,
I know.
That was painful.
yeah.
Well, even like that horrible publicity stunt where they brought the firefighter who passed away at the rally, was shot and killed. They brought his uniform up and his helmet up on stage.
Okay.
And first of all, they had spelled his name wrong on it, apparently. So, like, disrespectful.
Oh, so it wasn't his jacket.
No, I think it was like a
prop.
replica. It was
Yeah.
literally a prop that they brought on stage, and then Trump basically reclaims his death and says he didn't die as a victim of gun violence in America. He died an American hero. Like kissed the helmet.
You see,
It's like
some of-
incredibly performative, and just ultimately doing the exact opposite of showing respect to this person. And I don't know, just really deplorable if you ask me. But
I mean, yeah, it's all such a dog and pony show on both sides. Let's be honest. I mean, I haven't seen Joe Biden do something quite like that,
no, you don't see that flavor.
But there is,
No, it's-
but they're all still performing and trying to get a show going. And
That's what
trying
I'm
to-
talking
I
about.
won't
I'm
deny
talking
that, but-
exactly about that. That
Yeah.
I am shocked about, like, at every level, is show business.
Yeah, like, are you entertaining? Are your
Yes.
policies entertaining?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That is ultimately, that is what people are responding to right now. People are responding to this Republican convention, or is he going to win?
Donald Trump?
Yeah.
I think so.
But you see what I'm talking about? It's like,
Well, a lot of
for me,
people-
it doesn't make sense.
No.
For me, I don't understand, how is this possible?
Me either.
You know.
I ask myself that every day. Like, how are we still here?
I mean, during his presidency, he cut corporate tax rate a lot, and he created an massive deficit.
I know, it's funny too, because the right is always like, we're the fiscally responsible ones. And then they just completely disregard so much proof and evidence of this monster and this man who literally wants to like have this white national agenda. And it's amazing how they can just dismiss so much.
I just don't get it.
I mean, to play devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
voting for Joe Biden is crazy. Like, justify voting for Joe Biden in any way that's like, I just don't want Donald Trump to win. Like,
It's just more the same, which isn't that crazy to me. It's not progress, but it's not anarchy. It's
But-
not.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to interject for a second.
Please.
The Republican agenda right now is ridiculous.
It's very scary.
It is really. It's, to me. Can I curse?
Yeah.
you fucking can.
Yeah, great. So it's like it fucks with your liberties.
Yeah.
Fucks with your freedom. They want to ban abortion at a federal level.
And
Yeah.
birth control.
I mean, it's
And no fault divorce. They don't want women to have rights.
I think
ban,
it's crazy.
ban same, sex marriage. I mean, it's like
Take away trans rights. Ban
We-
trans people from the military. I mean, so many things.
the land of the free.
But yeah,
I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
It's like, give me a break.
Where's the freedom? In Texas, you can't look at porn on the internet.
You cannot.
Which I find
Texas.
really weird.
Texas is like, this is where
I
freedom.
was in Texas.
This is the freedom.
4 days ago.
Must have been terrible sitting in a hotel room not being able
Thankfully,
to
I
check
was
off the
very
porn.
busy. But can you believe? It's like it's
Like, you
I know.
guys are the land of the free, no censorship, no big brother.
No.
I can't look at pornography. I'm 34 years old. I can't look up pornography.
I didn't realize you wanted to so bad. No, I'm kidding.
I don't.
I'm kidding.
I would never, but I want the option.
No, I agree. I
You got
totally
the
agree.
option.
Insane. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's treating people like children. It's like
I love that that's what has you up in arms, though. Everything we just listed, it's like, yeah, that's bad. And then the porn is what really sets you off. We all have our
I just
issues.
hate, I listen to Joe Rogan sometimes, and he's in Texas, and he loves to tote, like, oh, Texas, this is where the freedom is. Like, what freedom? Show me the freedom. You can't smoke weed. You can't look at porn. You can't look at porn.
You can't divorce your husband.
You can't divorce your husband. You can't get an abortion. Like, show me the freedom. What do you
They
mean?
also
You can
are
own a gun?
No,
trying to make
okay.
it illegal to even go across state lines for medical help. So not only could you not go get an abortion in Texas, they want to make sure that you can't drive to New Mexico or Oklahoma or Arizona, wherever the hell else you'd go and receive that care. I mean, it is like really doomsday scenario to me.
It's just bizarre. It's this, like, blinders of, like, we're doing the right thing, and it's like, can't you see that you're not? It's hard.
Right, mandating 10 commandments in public school classrooms.
that's my other favorite hilarious thing.
I am, and it's so funny because they're talking about, they have this monopoly, right? Like Christianity tries to have this monopoly on ethics and morals in this country. And they're like, oh, we have to protect the children and instill these great Christian values in them. And then it's like literally up there talking about adultery and things. It's like, how do you want to explain to the second grader what adultery is and how you shouldn't commit adultery? Like, you really actually think that's an appropriate conversation for these 7-year-olds? Because I don't see how that's really what you should be focusing on.
Yeah. And, like, Jesus is a communist more than a capitalist. Like, Jesus, like, give away everything, share everything with everybody. Capitalism, American morals are inherently not Christian. Like, people love to say, like, we were built on Christian values. Like, which
No,
ones?
We were
We're
built
not.
on religious freedom. The need for religious freedom is what people forget. And then, Puritan values, which are very...
I mean, don't steal, don't murder. Like, everybody came to that. Everybody figured that one out.
Right.
You know, that's not a Christian. They didn't invent that.
No.
Christianity's 2,000 years old. You were not allowed to kill people way before that. You know, like or steal.
Yeah.
It's just it's comical. But I will say I'm sure we are blind to certain things too.
Of course.
We have like the liberals are the good guys, the conservatives are the bad guys, and we have our own bias as well. That we're a little blind to things.
To me, the thing that over the years had struck me the most about, this land of the free, is, first of all, I'm grateful and thankful for America, for what it has given me, the opportunities and all that. But over the years, I've started to make distinctions between the land of the free and what America really is about. America is amazing at marketing. Everything becomes marketing line. Yeah, land of the free. Yeah, is the most restricted democracy in the world. Yeah,
Restricted democracy.
There's two political parties. Those are your two options. Let's be honest. Maybe the Green, it doesn't really count.
No.
And the Independents, they don't really count. Yeah, so you have two political options.
Yeah.
These two political options, according to what is the tone in the world, the circumstances, the needs, that, slightly shift together to the right, never too much to the left. There's always center and center right. What is, the Democrats that, here they are considered the left. What left? They are super conservative. I come from Argentina. You go, you go to Europe and there's like communists on the ballot, it's like all sorts of like shades of gray that we we're talking before. They are part of ballots. You can vote for them. That's your freedom and your freedom of choice. Here, that's illegal. So the land of the free has the least amount of options, when it comes to choosing what type of government you want. If let's say someone tomorrow decides to run for communist, I'm sure he's going to end up in jail.
Yeah, probably.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everywhere in the world, that is an option. And if the people want that, they can choose for that because that is the freedom that they have. These are the things that I'm realizing. It's like, the land of the free is not so much the land of the free because the second that, you strive, if a society, let's say that, I think we were talking about it yesterday, that, or was it with you? But I'm concerned about, what's going to happen in the next, decade with AI coming up. I think we were talking about that. It's like robots are already replacing, people in Amazon distribution center. Everything becomes like, AI, and robots are destroying, human beings' jobs. And capitalism and AI are arch enemies. I don't understand how this is going to blend together. And opposite to that, socialism and AI are, partners. But socialism in America is considered communism.
Yeah, real
There's
taboo.
such a fear.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of having protection so that, instead of AI getting you out of your job, the government have to figure out a way for you to have a decent life still, It feels like now government is governing for corporations to keep expanding their profits.
For sure.
So the economy keeps expanding so that capitalism continues to be justified.
Yeah, and keeping us fighting with each other. Because if every American was on the same page, things would change. But
Well-
if you can keep them divided, like you're totally safe being a bajillionaire at the top.
Yeah, I think if I always said that I'm also used to, growing up in Argentina, every time that people had trouble putting food on the table, part of the city started burning. People would go on the street,
Right.
and discontent would be showcased because government would not listen to, to the people. And they would start like throwing Molotovs to the Pink House in Argentina. And it's like riots and yes, there's a lot of subtext and sublayers and like, malicious actions and whatnot from opposition parties and all. Yeah, I'm not going to, but people who go out there pissed off, and really create a social tension.
I think it's so interesting you bring this up because I have had a conversation recently and it's like, it seems like people on the right cannot get past the destruction of property that happened like the summer of George Floyd's murder and all of the protests and unrest that happened after that, which I think were pretty explosive. They were a pretty big deal. But it's just so interesting to me that some people are still hung up on that and how that's never acceptable as this tool of demonstration. Meanwhile, they're totally willing to overlook the insurrection and all of the actions from January 6th and the incredible violence of that day and the malicious intentions of that day and how truly vulnerable they made our democracy that day. I just can't get over the irony of being unable to forgive or understand or tolerate one and completely excuse the other.
Yeah. Well, and if people try to like block traffic to like make a point, it's like fuck these assholes. But then like the truckers in Canada who were protesting the vaccine, like that was shutting down traffic. That was like, it's a form of protest. Like,
right. And now they got us talking, which was the entire intention. And let's be honest, when people are desperate, they do desperate things. And I don't think in that situation, it's only fair to just to punish these people who are in a desperate place and feel like they have no voice, and that's the only way they can get attention.
Yeah, but I will say I think a lot of the riots during that summer, they made a statement, but they were sort of unproductive. It's kind of the low-hanging fruit. Like, let's go burn shit. We'll express our anger, but like, I'm not gonna like run for office or start petitioning or like do the long actual work to like make any real lasting change. It's kind of the easiest thing you can do is go out and light a car on fire.
The problem I feel is that, this is my opinion, maybe I'm absolutely wrong, but the problem is that there's been a lack of hope in the ability that society has in order to change things for real at the top. I do think that something that governments have been very efficient at is at cutting the ties, to power of society, and isolating the sectors of society that have access to power from the normal medium of society.
It's totally true. I mean, what Elon Musk just came out. He's donating $45 million a month to the Trump campaign.
That's what I'm talking about.
$45 million a month. And how is that not illegal to just be completely financing elections? Like, no wonder the American people feel hopeless.
Lobby, in most places in the world, it's called corruption.
Right.
Here it's an accepted thing.
Yeah, our Supreme Court's doing more and more.
I'm a lobbyist.
Yes, but South America is corrupt,
Sure.
But
so same thing happens. Just
this is not corruption,
No, they made it legal.
I don't know when was the last time that there was a president that was truly governing for the people.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think you're absolutely right.
I don't know
it's all corporate.
How could there be at this point?
Well, now what it feels to me is that every single aspect of government is desperate to keep stretching, the boundaries of capitalism. It's like it has to keep existing, and for it to keep existing, the economy has to grow.
Yeah, the pie has to grow.
Absolutely. Otherwise, we're done.
Yeah,
and because the world, I don't think is able to visualize a future without capitalism. And this is something I've been thinking. I've been thinking a lot. It's like I started reading, different articles about Gen Z not having sex, not having kids.
Yeah, that's interesting.
South Korea is, I think right now is, about to go through an incredible moment where like population is gonna,
Shrink.
start shrinking to the point that, very soon it's
Because the women in society are saying the men are unable to do the emotional labor it takes to be a good partner, and we don't want to procreate with them. Like, that's literally the cause,
many
essentially.
aspects.
That's what's happening in South Korea.
Yeah, they're just like not interested in having partners over there.
I have friends of mine that had to decide, committing to what they love to, becoming mothers. And they had to make this conscious choice to, give up being a mother so that they can do what they want, what they love. It's like, and these are all things that are happening in society, and the consequences of that, it's like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future of capitalism if population starts shrinking.
It is interesting because I saw this. Yeah, sorry.
No. You need two kids per couple, for society to sort of maintain,
Stabilize.
be stable. Do you know a lot of friends of yours that have like 2 kids?
Well,
No.
more and more our friends are having kids, actually. Post-pandemic,
Many.
I mean, we're coming to that age where it's happening. Yes.
Yeah.
we're at the age
But
where
I also have
every
a-
time you open up Instagram, someone's pregnant.
It's true, but I also have a lot of friends who I know don't intend to have kids and are
Sure.
at that age where they, have 0 and
Yeah.
probably will always.
Yeah,
have 0.
I guess I probably have more friends.
I mean,
without.
I've wanted to be a mom my entire life, like easily. It was the one thing I was sure of in this world, and now I'm closer than ever to it, and it's more scary than ever. And I think about, I don't understand how most people do it, because I think I saw some woman the other day going over her bill. She delivered in January, got the bill in June, had health insurance, so she wasn't responsible for everything, but she was literally looking at the costs, $48,000 for a healthy delivery. No complications for baby or mom. And, she's looking at all the fees. There's one on there for over $3,000 for medication from the hospital. She's like, all they gave me was Motrin. I mean, nothing. It's like out of control. And that's when everything goes right. So imagine you have a premature delivery or any complications or a C-section. You're looking at like $100,000 easy. I'm like, how is this going to be sustainable?
I mean, that's my other shock. The price and the cost of living in Los Angeles.
It's pretty beastly.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
At the airport, I had a dry out cardboard miserable breakfast burrito and a filter coffee for $36.
It's insane.
I'm like,
Well, airport.
What?
Is
It's
even more
rough.
exaggerated.
but listen. I mean,
Go to Argentina with $36, you can get a lot.
Yeah.
Are you
The
kidding
airport
me?
food
Well,
there is not bad.
It's getting very expensive with me right now, but I don't want to go there. But
Oh, we can talk about our country's politics, but not
Yeah.
yours.
no, it's a mess. It's I don't know. It's like I don't know enough. I listen, to what my sister and my brother tell me.
The last time I ate airport food, I literally could not keep it down and threw it up on the plane within like an hour. Like, it was so gross and I just wouldn't sit. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It's
Like,
really hard to find a decent
I
meal
paid
at an
so
airport.
much for this thing to throw it up.
You pick the nicest looking
Ugh.
restaurant in
It's
the
the same.
airport. You're
Gross.
like, it's just bad.
You ask for some eggs, and it looks like a prop. It's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
I
But
know.
airports are for drinking, and that's it.
Yeah, but I have to say that the food in Los Angeles is off the chart.
It is so
Oh, yeah.
amazing
Great
how much
What
great
the-
food there is
oh
here.
my God.
And a great place to not drink alcohol. I mean, every single menu has these beautiful
Yeah,
juices
cocktails and-
mocktails and
Yeah, not mocktails.
it's like the non-alcoholic beers on there. It's very nice in that way that you can still treat
Yeah.
yourself. And
Yeah, and we'll miss there's just everything here,
Oh,
Like,
my gosh.
We'll be in Tucson probably and be like, you want to get West Indian food tonight? It's like there's not a West Indian restaurant.
No.
There's like
Yeah.
So there's everything here.
But you get used to it. In all honesty,
course.
And for the record, you've never asked me to go get West Indian food.
That's true. We usually just get tacos, which they have in Tucson.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't know.
no,
It's a great food city.
it really is.
And the produce too. That's what I think I'm gonna miss the most. The farmers markets, just going and like, there's so many fruits that I've never seen in my life.
Yeah.
I've just heard of, like there were jujubes and like passion fruit and all these things that I just like knew existed but never came across. That you'll find them here.
Yeah. I mean, it has evolved a lot in the last 20 years.
Yeah,
the
I believe
food
it.
in this
Oh,
city.
yeah? Nice.
Yeah. I remember coming here, in the early 2000s, and it was tough to, get a good coffee. Everything was only filter coffee, and then, in order to have good food, everything felt like it was like not good produce, on an average, right? Of course, you always have like the amazing restaurant and blah, blah, blah. But now everything is way more accessible, for better stuff. You pay for it too. But
Certainly.
but
But you know
it's-
what? It's interesting though. When I go to the grocery store, I mean, when you go to the grocery store, you go to the produce aisle, you can get a cart full of veggies and fruits and spend $30. And then you go to the rest of the store, you get one frozen pizza, a couple of processed things, and it's $30. And it's just so wild to me. Like the last 20 years, or really since the 90s, so more like 30, just how much our processed food has become poisonous. Like everything we spent focusing on, like gaining quickness and convenience, is just proven to be such a trap.
You think it's more toxic now than it was in the 90s?
Yes, I think
Oh, wow.
I think companies have continued to make their cheap cereals cheaper and more cost effective, and that comes at our expense. It comes in, there's more hidden toxic crap than ever. I've become so snobby with my foods because it's like,
But is it just that we're paying more attention now? Like eating like Oreo O's in 1998, like was that?
I don't think so, because there's like so many people out there now studying too the differences between a Powerade 5 years ago and the difference between a Powerade now, and a lot of it's under the guise of like looking at inflation and how you can get the same. How can you get the same amount of ounces? Like what are the differences? And
With
they're basically
cheaper-
just
with
they're
cheaper-
finding more synthetic additives, more different chemicals, everything to basically just make it more lucrative,
Wow.
So yeah,
I
I
didn't
think
realize I would have assumed that things have gotten healthier. People are more health conscious than they were in the 90s. And like in the 90s, you'd have like blue butter at the store.
I mean,
like
we
we've
still
made butter
do,
blue
though.
now. Like they did that for a while.
You kidding me?
Yeah, like to get kids into shit, it's like, or like green ketchup. Like
I think-
ketchup's green now.
I
And
think
it's like a commercial.
what you're saying is true. We're looking for it more, but they're also better at hiding it. And they make they make healthy like health products that are still hiding all the
Yeah,
crap.
yeah.
Like they'll say this is like non-GMO, or they'll say other buzzy things
right,
that make
right.
you feel like it's a safe product, and it's not.
It's like saying like Oreos are vegan. Like they were always vegan. It's just trendy to say vegan now.
Right.
But it's just like,
And they're not talking about all the dyes in there that are
Right.
known to cause cancer. So
yeah,
it's
like a nuclear bomb is vegan,
Like I always knew that Oreos were something I should not be eating very many of. I didn't realize that they were like full of poison.
Yeah, it's crazy. And
That poison.
I remember.
It's so good.
I love
I
Oreos.
love them. I love them too.
I know Argentina, you guys love your cookies, but I put Oreo up against any cookie in Argentina.
No.
See, I said this in front of the Cowboys. They're like, get the fuck out of here.
You know what you don't have? You don't have chocolate covered Oreos.
So what? You took our cookie, you covered it in chocolate? Yeah, that's right.
You have no idea what that is. It's like amazing.
Wow.
I always laugh in our home ec class in like 7th grade. We had a whole unit on deep frying food.
Oh
and
my
we
God.
learned to deep fry Oreos. I'm like, could you just teach me how to, like, I don't know, cut an an eggplant
Right.
properly,
Make
or
your own
like
dressing,
Yeah, let
you
me
know?
know like how do I make pasta from scratch? Like tell me something meaningful.
So easy.
Yes.
Also, it's so easy to
It
do
is.
pasta from scratch.
It's not so bad.
No. And it's fast.
It can be fast.
And we have the KitchenAid now.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. All
I
those-
know.
I've done the
Attachments.
best mousses and the best breads, and I mean it's yeah.
I hope that this like all of what I was just saying comes with like a resurgence of slow made goods, homemade goods, handmade goods, like this reversion to simplicity, because I think it's the only way we're going to reclaim our health, because it's very clear that corporate and government interests don't really care about about our health whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're running a company and you say, "Hey, should we lose $5 million this year?" It's like no. Yeah, like the answer is just always no.
Yeah.
And it's like we could do like regenerative farming and like get rid of these dyes and like buy locally processed things. Also, our product will be twice as expensive and half the people will buy it. So like we're gonna lose money. It's just tough. Like that's kind of the bitch of
It is. It's
capitalism. But I think we can figure out how to make it profitable, and especially if people stop buying bullshit and they're only buying the good stuff, it
That
will
is the
shift.
thing. It's tough, because your pockets are becoming shallower.
Yeah.
Yeah, money's
it's like
going
the
for, and
prices of
money's
things.
not going as far.
So yeah, you have like 2 kids to feed. You won't be able to be too picky about what if you make an average income.
I know, and it's crazy that like a cheeseburger from McDonald's is cheaper than buying lettuce and making a salad at home.
I mean, it's
Wild.
Yeah.
A lot of things to solve, but I think this is why we still have football, to give us a break from
I've been
the
also
reality.
thinking about that. Yes,
We all need a break from
Yeah.
the very serious things happening in
Yeah.
the world.
It's
Yeah.
true. We do need something to cheer for. It is used to pacify us also.
It
Like
is.
the billionaires or the elite, whatever, the controlling class of the planet
Oligarch.
loves when we all get focused on soccer.
Yeah,
But so do we.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
hey, so what do you want me to do? You know? But hey, well, this was great.
Yeah, it was really good.
I'm glad we squeezed in. On our last podcast we recorded, we said this is the last one in this house, and then here we get a bonus one.
Yeah.
Oh, that is amazing.
It's awesome.
I'm so happy for it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we had to do it. We
had
had to
to,
do. That's why. Well, probably you're not gonna want it. I'm like, you know what? Let's do it.
Thank
Yeah, I
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
I just
it's-
I get a little uncomfortable being the guy like, come on.
no,
come on, come
no.
do
Well,
this,
you
come
know,
do the show.
you know me. It's I'm, I might not feel like in my element, but it's like you call me, I'll be there.
This was a lot of fun.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And
What
these are
else is
delicious.
on your to-do list for LA? Anything
Right now?
else? Yeah.
Right now, I'm gonna have either a barbecue. I haven't even checked my phone. Oh, it's still on Do Not Disturb. That
I
was
love
why.
that.
Big
Big fan of the do not disturb mode.
You know what? Going to England, that's what I started doing. 7:00,
I love it.
done.
Yeah.
It's
Off the clock.
yeah,
I'm out.
yeah. I quite enjoy that part.
I have to, because my family's on the East Coast, and my
so-
dad wakes up really early, and they'll start messaging at like 3 or 4 in the
Yeah.
morning, and it'll wake me up no matter
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
So I'm like, I respect my sleep. These are my sleep hours.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that balance. All right, Carlos Veron.
So great seeing you both. I'm
Me
so
too.
happy that we squeezed this
Yes.
amount of time. In
I know.
2 days, I'm
I
here.
know.
2 in a row.
Yeah,
Us too.
yeah, really amazing. Have the best of fun and times in what lies ahead for you.
Thank you.
We'll see you there.
Yes, on my
Yes.
next trip, I'm gonna make a couple of days to go visit you.
I can't wait.
Nice little, road trip to your new home,
Woohoo!
and we'll play some music and
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
and put that guy,
We'll put old Krumer,
yeah,
Cosmo Krumer,
Yeah.
over here to work.
yeah.
All right.
All right, thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
Yes.
Love you.
Take
Love you
care,
too.
everybody.
Love you, Christine.
Take good care. Love you. Love you.
Good night,
Oh, you're
everybody.
so cute. All right, well done, huh?
Amazing.
Yeah. I can't believe it's 1 already.
Oh,
was an hour and a half.
Hour and a half just
Ay,
flew
ay, ay.
by. Let me help you with this.